Alright, here we can see our results from the stock baseline. Dyno done here in Longmont, Colorado. So we're up at altitude, but turbocharged vehicle, so minimal impact there. Made 207 foot-pounds of torque and 180 horsepower. So these are real low numbers, obviously. Stock engine, stock boost, stock exhaust, turbo, everything. So it gives you an idea what you can expect from a stock 25, 26-year-old Toyota Supra. You can notice a few things here looking at the chart. Boost tails off, so we start around 6, and by the end it's down to right around 4.5. I think a boost controller would help steady that, and we're going to do that anyway as a part of the modifications to come, so not a big worry there. AFR, as you can see, start out actually a little higher than I thought, so this is the scale for AFR. I penciled in there roughly. So you can see it falls to 10 towards the end, towards red line, but it comes up here. It starts out at 15 before it really gets under load, but even at peak torque, you know, right here, that's right about 12.5. It's a little leaner than I expected, actually. But these figures are done with a clip-on AFR gauge at the end of the exhaust system. Not necessarily the most accurate, so take that with a grain of salt. But that's a figure to look at nonetheless. The trend should be somewhat accurate at least. So I made some real rough calculations over here. Of course, these aren't exact. There are losses and there are inefficiencies that come into play here. But looking at roughly 8% power loss with the boost trailing off. So if we had kept 6.0 the whole time, we could have expected roughly 8% higher numbers towards the end of that run, which means our peak power could have been closer to 195. Not a huge difference, but definitely significant. It's 8%. That's something you might be able to feel. And then potential, just some rough figures. If we're looking at boost under fuel cut, 12 psi G, what a gauge would read, should be within the limits of fuel cut for the 7M. So if we run these figures, again, this is just really rough math, we'd be looking at 260 horsepower to the wheels instead of the 195 that we could get at 6 psi. So just some rough figures to throw around. Again, not perfect, but just gives you a real vague estimate of where you might expect to be. We're going to do a few more modifications, namely exhaust, and then we're going to try again and see what kind of power and torque figures we get. And then after that, I don't know if I'm going to invest in a boost controller or go straight to a standalone. I want to do a standalone at some point anyway, so I may as well just skip straight to that, I think. So, there you go. Stock dyno on a 91 Supra. Stay tuned for some fun modifications.